everyone, welcome to Life Tips by Ning. In today's video, I'm sharing explanations for the 38th hexagram in I-Ching called opposition. So based on the image of this hexagram, the external triagram is fire and the internal triagram is lake. And lake also had this property of metal. And if you learn about the series, you know the relationship amongst the 5 elements. Fire suppresses metal and it melts it, hurts it. So the relationship between those two bodies are opposing each other. They're quite the opposite. They're different. So this hexagram simplifies oppression, divergence, a lot of unreconciled differences, disagreement, or somebody's in isolation or by themselves. So it's not a very favorable condition to be in. That's why the hexagram is saying it's actually productive to do something on a smaller scale, to achieve a smaller deed by yourself. That's fairly fine. But if you're trying to accomplish something larger scale that need a lot of people's support, then you're very unlikely to achieve that result. So in this situation, what should one do? That's the wisdom of this hexagram. It's all about how do we approach people who are different from us to reconcile that difference so that we can reach some sort of a similarity or common ground. And the answer also go back to the image of the hexagram. Fire means brightness, sunshine. It's common moral standards. So two people can be from very diverse background, culturally, country, geographic location, whatever, right? But we as humans, we share similar moral standards and principles. So if you can kind of ignore the surface level differences and focus on the human level psychological commonness and basic needs, then you can able to bridge the gap and reach some sort of a common ground. And another way is to look at the lake triagram. It's about sparkling lake. It brings people easiness, relaxed feeling, and joy. If you can connect with people who are very different from you with a lot of sincerity, joy, and just simpleness without overthinking it, that can be also a very effective way of reconcile the differences. So that's what this hexagram is talking about, is the wisdom of bridging over this gap so that you can reach a harmonious and collaborative stage. So looking at the first line, this is an initial stage, meaning that unfortunately you're a newcomer. You don't have a lot of connection, background, or even experience behind you, and it's kind of an awful beginning stage because it's in a very opposing, divergent situation. You probably won't run into a lot of people naturally supporting you or helping you. In that case, what should you do? The wisdom here is don't fight with the current trend. Instead, you should follow its natural course of action. Wait for it to unfold. Whatever it is, treat it with a very non-discriminative, non-biased approach, and just watch it with a very objective mindset. For example, if you lose your horse, that's what the line description says. Don't chase after it. The faster you chase, the further it will get away from you. Instead, just be calm, wait for its time to return. It will naturally come back over time. Or another case that if you run into a person you just sincerely dislike, right? The default mode might be not engage, turn around, and just isolate, following this natural rhythm of opposition. But instead, you should have this open-mindedness rather than treating the seemingly enemy with distance and overly favoritism or protecting your friends. Rather than doing that, treat everybody with similar mindset. So even though you naturally dislike somebody, still give them a chance, still interact and engage with them. That will bring your opposing situation back into a more neutral state and preventing harm. The second line is a yang line sitting in the yin position. So naturally, it's not in a proper fitted role. So you naturally will encounter some difficulty, blockage in terms of whatever you're achieving. But the beauty of this one is second and fifth line, one is a yang line and one is a yin line. So they follow this natural rhythm of yin and yang pairing with each other. That way, it's saying that even though initially you might encounter a lot of difficulties, but over time, just probably when you're trying to give up or something, you will unexpectedly run into a higher up person, either a person with authority, organizational power, wealth, or even like a doctor with a lot of skill treating your disease, whatever. It's a blessed figure in your life who can pull you out of that misery situation and help you resolve your problem. So that key person will be the blessing at the end of a miserable encounter. The third line, however, is not so easy to overcome because this is a outer stage of this lake triagram, right in close proximity with the fire attacking it. This one is being hurt the most. It's saying that you're kind of in the middle and you're getting pulled by very strong opposing forces, and you feel like you're trapped in the middle and being pulled in all directions, but in reality you're not moving anywhere. And on top of it, in the process of being pulled apart, you're experiencing harm or injury or some sort of a legal lawsuit situation. So this type of blockage is very hard to bear because of the opposition environment you're in. However, because the natural pair from the third and the sixth line, right, is saying after this initial hurt, injury, being trapped, and immense difficulty, you will run into somebody powerful, quite harsh, powerful, way more experienced than you do, and they will pull you out. They will help you and resolve your trouble. So your issue will be eventually resolved by encountering somebody else, and it's either because you have this natural connection with that person, or you show sincerity enough to attract his support, his or her support, whatever the reason is. It's because you're able to follow that wisdom of how to overcome this divergence by showing sincerity, by showing your moral standard that probably share some common ground with this helper. The fourth line, again, is from bad to good, because initially it's saying, I am so isolated because this person is kind of in solitude. I don't have a lot of friends or supporters in my life. It's kind of a yang line in a improper position again. But how I solve this potential danger and risk associated with it being alone is showing people sincerity, showing people deep down I'm actually easy to get along with. So you are able to attract people who share the same common ground or similar goals with you, and together you created this group energy that will bring yourself out of the trap you were in and the solitude you were in. The fifth one is typically the king's position, right? The guy in power. But it's an yin line, so it's saying that in the opposing environment, I have a lot of barriers around me. It's either people misunderstand me or seemingly have different viewpoints than I do. But those are all easier barriers to chew through. It's like biting through a fat meat. It's very easy to break it down and break down the barrier. By doing that, I can show how approachable I am, even though I'm in a position of power. By displaying that approachability, I'm able to make friends, gain a lot of alliance. People maybe share similar background with me, or even though they might be from different social status, but I'm able to show my approachability and relaxed attitude and easy and kindness and niceness, so that there's a group of natural alliance coming my way to help me proceed and push forward. Then in that case, it's very favorable to take action and go to the next stage. Last but not least, this is the extreme ending phase of this external fire triagram, right? So it's meaning the extreme condition of opposition. If you're as far as you can get to be different from me, naturally, it's very hard to build trust. I have this kind of a doubt, mistrust, or suspicion for the other person if there's no common ground. So in this case, you might have a lot of delusional perception about the person that might not be true. So if you land on this final line, it might mean whatever you're asking, you're kind of wandering around, wavering. It's very hard to figure out where the truth lies. You'll be distracted by all kinds of delusional image or ideas or concept. In that case, what should you do? How do you reconcile that difference again? So it's bringing this energy of rain and water, the cleansing rain, because rain will decrease the heat of this extreme fire. It will bring it back to a more balanced state. So that rain also represents something harmonious, like you can celebrate by having a marriage, like alliance with the other person, or maybe being connected by a middle common friend. Or rain also means like the watery type of season. So the optimal time to do something is more in the fall and winter season, so you can balance the heat of the fire from summer. So rain can represent so many different images, but the key is to have this harmonious yin energy to balance the strong yang fire's energy, so you can kind of bring auspicious results down the road and kind of reduce your initial mistrust or delusional view of other people, which might be so different from the truth. So that's an explanation for the 38th hexagram opposition. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.